Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm going to be filming a how-to video, and today we are going to be focusing all about my wing liner, how I create my wing liner, what I use, and why I love the products that I do. Most recently, I feel like a lot of you guys have asked me to do a tutorial on how I do my wing liner, because usually in my demos I don't show how I do it, I just kind of skip on it, because I have done a video like this in the past, maybe like 2 years ago, but I thought it was about time to do an updated one, and you guys keep asking me how I do it. Honestly, from memory, I feel like this video is going to be very similar to the old one. I didn't even want to go watch my old videos because I feel like it's so freaking cringy and I don't even want to click on it, but I'm pretty sure I'm using these same products still. That's just how much I love this eyeliner that I'm going to talk about. So with that being said, if you guys are interested in seeing how I create my wing, then just continue watching. So before we jump into the tutorial, the demo portion, I want to talk about the products that I use and why I like them. Wing liner, it is very difficult to get even, and I know a lot of people struggle with getting a very sharp wing liner, and hopefully this video today will help you guys. The best advice I could ever give anyone, not even just wing liner, like just makeup in general, is just to keep practicing, know your eyes, know your face. I would say I started wearing wing liner around when I was like 17, and back then, if I can find some photos, I'll put it up on the screen. It was very, very blunt. Like, I was getting somewhere, but it was like very blunt. And 17, I'm 22 now, so it's been a couple of years. I always wear a wing liner. Every time I do my makeup, like 99% of the time when I have makeup on, I have a wing liner on. I feel like I'm not complete without it. That's just how important a wing liner is to me. I personally feel like it looks really good on my smaller Asian eyes. It just really rounds out my eyes, kind of like. So yeah, I definitely have been testing and trialing different products, different techniques, different brushes, stuff like that. But the products that I'm going to talk about today are the products that I continuously use and I've been using throughout the years. But back to the point, my best advice is just to keep practicing and know your eye shape. Even to this day, I will have days where I just hate my wing liner. Sometimes I mess it up, I screw it up, but some days I'm like, that's a wing, man. I could like just cut anything right now. It is so sharp. You know, I have my days where it's really good and my days where it's really bad, and I feel like everybody is like that. Even like the best makeup artists in the world, I feel like they will have like one day of the year where they can't do a wing. Okay, so moving on to the products that I use, and this is just what I use and what I find easy for myself. There are so many eyeliners that you could use out there: brush tip, felt tip, liquid, gel. It's just personal preference, really. I know my preference is probably not majority of people's preference, but I personally like to use a gel liner, and this is the gel liner that I have been using for maybe 2 years now, and it's still doing me strong, and I'll tell you guys how it's lasted me this long. So the eyeliner that I like to use is the Inglot Amc Eyeliner Gel in the shade number 77, which is the black. And you can see my one is pretty beat up. I have dug into this one a lot, and it's honestly just the best eyeliner that I've ever used. It's so black, it's so smooth, and it just glides on and makes creating a wing a dream. Inglot is cruelty free, and I think this guy is $13 US. I'm not too sure. I'll link everything down below with prices. And the next product is the Inglot Duraline. So this is kind of like a liquid drop. I don't know what you technically would call this, but I would always drop this in my Inglot gel liner to make the consistency more liquidy again and more smooth and creamy, because with gel liners it does dry out very, very quickly. But I've had this for so long because of the Duraline. But definitely the Duraline, I think it's something you should have just on hand, even with like pomades, cream eyeshadows, just anything that is a solid form. You can add this in and make it more liquidy again. And the brush that I always use for my wing liner with the gel liner is the Makeup Geek bent liner brush. I think it's $6 US or something. Very, very affordable, and I do feel like I need to get another one. It's kind of like splitting a little bit, but it still works perfectly fine. It's just so small, and the point of it is very sharp. I can create my wing very easily with this. And the last product is an eyeliner pencil. This one is from Sigma. It's their long wear eyeliner pencil in the shade Wicked, which is just the black. And I use this to tightline my upper waterline waterline. I'm gonna explain it in the tutorial, but you always should tightline your upper waterline if you are creating such a dramatic wing. It's just super, super black. It stays in your waterline and it's very smooth and creamy to use. I mentioned this in one of my favorites before, and the cool thing about this is that you can actually scroll it up instead of sharpening, and I hate sharpening anything. So yeah, this is the eyeliner that I personally like to use and I use all the time. If you want to save some money off Sigma Beauty, you can use my code. I'll leave it here and also in the description box, but this is the one that I love. So yeah, you cannot go without a kohl liner when you are doing a wing. If you don't want to purchase like a separate kohl liner, but I personally think you should because it does come very handy, but if you're on the budget and you don't want to and you want to take the gel liner route, you can use the gel liner to tightline your upper waterline. I probably would have used a different brush, maybe like more of a blunt brush so you're not really stabbing your eye, but you can use gel liner to tightline. I used to do it a lot, but now I just use like a pencil instead, but you can use the gel liner to tightline. So yeah, that is all of the products that I use and why I love them. I've had all of these products for a really long time now. Yeah, hopefully that will help you guys out, give you guys some recommendations. If you guys don't want to use a gel liner, I would say NYX has a really good liquid liner. I think it's called like the matte liquid liner. Kat Von D has a really good one. Those two are the ones that just pop into my head of other good liners, but honestly, Inglot AMC gel liner, I won't use anything else, like period. That is pretty much all I wanted to say about the products. Now we can move on to the actual tutorial. Okay guys, let's go ahead and get started with the wing liner tutorial. I already have some eyeshadow on. This is part of my fire look for the Zodiac Colourpop collection. So if you want to see this look, then it will be in that video. I have my Inglot Duraline right here and my Makeup Geek bent eyeliner brush, and I'm just going to coat my brush with this. What I like to do is just start on the outer corner first and bring it in towards the middle, and slowly bring it towards the inner part of my eye. So towards the inner part of my eye, I like to keep the liner a lot thinner just because I have so many folds in this region here. If I make it too thick and I look up, the eyeliner is actually going to transfer. So when you are doing wing liner, you want to know your eyes really well. You gotta trial and error a lot. Before, I could do like a really thick line all the way across and I wouldn't have a problem. But more recently, there's just a lot more folds in this area. So in this part, I gotta keep it very, very thin. So what I like to do is just look down into my mirror, like I'm keeping it underneath my nose, like I can see my nostrils and everything. So now that we got our lash line lined, this is like the base. This is what I like to start off with. It's kind of like mentally preparing myself for the wing. For the actual wing, I will go from the outer corner of my eye, just like right here, and I will just drag it out, kind of where my brow ends. If you guys are beginners, there are two tips that I would give you. Is you could do this with an eyeshadow first. So you could just take like an angled brush like this one and go in with eyeshadow and kind of map out where you want it to go. Do both sides. I personally just do one eye first and then the other, but if you're a beginner, you probably want to do them kind of at the same time, like map it out at the same time, that way they are even. But because I've done wing liner for so long, I know my eye shape quite well. I wouldn't say like every day is a good liner day, but most days are good liner days. Also, another tip is if you want to do your eyes first before your base. As you can see here, I didn't do my base yet. You can always take your wipe, and I'll show you towards the end, but you can always wipe it to make it a bit more sharp. But just a couple of tips just in case you guys are beginners. So now that I have my base down, I'm gonna connect it. I'm gonna go from the outer corner of my lash line and just connect it. It's really hard to do with like the handheld mirror. I usually use my bigger mirror here and go very close and use two hands, so I'm trying my best. So with my wing liner, I like to keep it very straight. Like, as you can see when I'm looking ahead, the liner is very straight. Some people like to make it more angled and more up, but for my eye shape, I like to keep it just quite straight. I'm gonna bring in my bigger mirror a little bit closer, so I'm sorry if you can see it. So in reality, I will use my handheld mirror first just to get the guideline, and then once I have everything like mapped out kinda, I will take this big mirror here, like I don't need to hold it, and I will use two hands, and I'll kind of like pull my face a little bit, and people might hate me for this, for pulling my face, but it's just what you gotta do. So I'm gonna go underneath. And then like I was mentioning before, I'm just going to take my wipe and I'm just going to go underneath, and I'm using like the tip of my nail just to clean it up, and you can see it made it like a little bit more sharper. It looks really weird right now just because I don't have any base on, I don't have my lower lash line on, I don't have any lashes, I haven't tightlined yet. So now I'm just going to do my other eye. I'm gonna try get in frame. If I'm not, I might just cut it out, but if I do get any clips of me being in frame, I'll definitely keep it in. So with this eye, I don't know why I don't use my handheld mirror, I always just use this big mirror. For this eye, I really need to like pull it back. And I know for this eye and the inner part of my eye, I can do the liner a little bit thicker just because there won't be any creasing, because this eyelid is bigger than this eyelid, as I'm sure you guys can kind of tell. So now that I got both of my wings down, I feel like they look fairly similar. The next step is to tightline. So tightlining is a very, very important step. You can kind of see the skin on my upper lash line and the liner doesn't look complete. I'm gonna do one eye and just show you the difference. Maybe on camera I feel like you can't really tell, but it does make a huge difference and you definitely want to tightline. So I always use the Sigma Long Wear Eyeliner Pencil in the shade Wicked, which is just the black. So I'm gonna look down into my mirror once again. At first this will feel very, very weird, but you definitely get used to it. So I don't know if you can really tell, like this eye, the lash line looks a lot more fuller once I tightlined, and this eye, it doesn't look as full. So I'm going to tightline this eye as well. I'm going to finish the rest of my makeup and then I'll be back to show you the final look with the final wing. Okay guys, so I am back with the final results. This is what my wing liner would look like on an everyday and normal glam. I love wearing a wing liner. That's when I feel the most confident. If I don't have a wing, I personally feel like something big is missing in my makeup. So I'm always rocking a wing liner, and hopefully this tutorial was helpful to you guys. And this is the completed look. Guys, is going to wrap up my video for today. I hope you guys found this quick little video helpful. If you guys did find my tips and tricks helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up for me. I would appreciate it so much. If you guys have any questions about eyeliners or how I do my wing liner, if I forgot to mention something, just leave your questions down below in the comments and I'll be sure to answer them. And yeah, that is pretty much it for today's video. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!